Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for North Dakota Today. Today, I'm Lisa Beddoe here with Chris Berg. What's the big story today?
I was going to say, why do you have that big smile on your face, Lisa?
Yeah,
Beddoe?
it's the only thing anyone's talking about today. The Bison won, and they are dancing.
Going to play
Duke tomorrow. Wow, that is just wild.
It's amazing. I'm so happy for those guys. I mean, it's David
excited.
versus Goliath, but they got a chance to be on the big. I mean, everybody in the country is going to be watching that game tomorrow.
I know it's
Friday.
you can watch it. Yeah, Friday. Well, today's Thursday, so it is tomorrow. Yeah, you're right.
I'm a little slow. It's Friday Eve.
Tomorrow, 6:10, you can watch that game on KX4. So, and I feel like it's all over the place. It's what everyone's talking about. This. The NDSU Bisons.
Is that what they're saying? Oh.
Well, most people, most of the time they do. You'd think by now they would know it's Bison, but you do hear that every once in a while. Quite the lineup. So, and also, I don't know, the timing of the game, 6:10.
6:10. It's perfect. I mean, 7:10. You're kind of in that cusp of prime time out on the East Coast, and Jim Nance is going to be calling the game. I mean, to hear his voice calling, and here's the Bison. It's going to be fantastic. Hopefully he'll do some golf voice for us too during the game.
Did you watch any of the game last night?
Oh yeah, like most of the second half, it was great.
It was a great game. The whole game was really great, and then of course the ending too. That's good. We slipped past them. We had the lead for most of the game, but 78-74 was the final score. It was a great game, and now the next step, those guys are pumped up. And actually, we do have some sound from some of the players. I think we can listen to how they're feeling. They're calling it like a dream come true.
I just stood there with my arms up. It's an amazing experience. It's one thing to make it to the tourney, but to win the game in there is just something different.
This is something you've been dreaming about since you were a little kid. So to actually be in that environment, that moment right there, it was amazing.
That little kid in the candy store, just like, wow, we finally got one in the NCAA tournament, and it's an honor to be a part of this and a part of the team, and it's just a great feeling.
And of course, our sports director Beth Houle is covering this for us. We tried to call her to see if we could do do an interview with her, talk to her live, but she's actually in the air right now. So.
Oh, is she coming back home, or she's going straight?
No, she's going straight there.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
She's probably going to be hanging out with Nance, Jim Nance.
Good stuff. I absolutely can't wait. Another big thing about last night, you're kind of a Twitter guy. Were you following the game at all and following Coach Richmond? Everyone was talking about this super casually dressed coach from NDSU. A lot of people were actually kind of picking on him and making fun of him because he looked so casual. The coach for the other team had the maroon. I know it's kind of a crazy suit if you ask me. But anyway, as we've talked about many times on North Dakota Today, he was wearing his Landon's Light shirt, per usual, to support Landon Solberg, the West Fargo 11-year-old with an aggressive form of brain cancer. But to viewers across the country who don't know the story, they were a little critical. Some called his look unprofessional. Yeah. Some even thinking it was like a Harry Potter shirt. Which is, Landon is a Harry Potter fan, so that was, why the Landon's Light, because of the font. One fan actually tweeted jokingly that the coach looked like he was about to hold a meeting for his startup tech company, which, even though that was mean, I thought it was kind of funny. Like, it was kind of a cool look. In the end, Twitter was actually blowing up with the hashtag Landon's Light, and eventually Landon's story was shared, and most people understood the explanation. I was, talking with Sydney, the producer of the show. I was like, I'm reading like the Miami Herald and this whole story about it was all over.
Really?
Yeah, like big time newspapers, and I've talked in the past that ESPN, when they were on ESPN2, they were talking about Landon's Light T-shirts. So, I mean, the hashtag Landon's Light it really went wild.
So
Lisa Green actually this morning alerted me to this because she's also on Twitter a lot. And I think she said, well, she's from Indiana, and her mom, her mom may be in Colorado. I'm giving her whole life story here. Anyway, family from all over the country was like calling her and texting her like, what's with this coach and his Landon's Light T-shirt? So, like, crazy.
Good move, Coach Richmond.
Awesome. Good for him. And I know Landon's been watching the game, super Bison fan here at home. So, and I know he's got to wear it tomorrow.
He has to. They said the whole team just come out in those shirts.
And they still go back and forth. A lot of the team, they have the family warm-ups, but a lot of times you still see them, all the players wearing Landon's Light t-shirts. So that's super awesome, and hopefully that sends good energy Landon's way as well. So what a great platform. You know, there was this one great picture that was, you know, Coach Richmond was, you know, kind of like yelling, so his coat was open. You could see Landon's Light, and you could see March Madness, you know, along the right, you know, the, I don't know, media stand or whatever right behind him. And I thought, you know, these are the crazy stories that, you know, come out of, like, it was an incredible game. We watched the game, but the rest of the country's like, why is this coach wearing, you know, a Landon's Light t-shirt? What does it mean? And the whole thing is so awesome. I was kind of watching some of the old stuff again this morning. I think it was last year, early in the season, when Coach Richmond actually had Landon sit with him and do like a, I think it was post-game news conference. And it's like, you think we're tough, this kid's tough, you know? So it just kind of brings you back. He's been a cheerleader. And I talk about Coach Richmond all the time as being, you know, I see him as a dad to 4 adorable little girls, you know. I mean, he's a coach to a bunch of big guys, but really in the end, he's a dad who cares about his kids and the kids in his neighborhood, so.
And he's from Wahpeton, good old Wahpeton.
Yep. Well, and he was a Wildcat. He played for the NDSTS Wildcats, so yeah, like it's fun to see him, you know, one of our own, kind of do well too. Did you see another coach in the stands?
I did. And did you see him towards the end of the game? Saul Phillips was even giving the horns up.
Yep.
I was like, good for Saul. I was super happy to see him there.
I was out at Frank's with like a Bison Nation. That place was packed with people watching the game, and so there was a lot of discussion about Saul, and then all of a sudden he popped up. I was like, oh my goodness. They're like, well, what else does he have to do?
Who knows? Maybe he'll come back and help Coach Rich. I mean, I don't know if that would happen, but it would be great to have him back. He's such a good guy. The
options are endless, so who knows? It was nice to see him, with the horns, wearing his Bison gear again. So yeah, that was cool. It just really has all of Bison Nation excited. And I've already been hearing a lot of people have been texting and, you know, calling like, well, so where are we going to watch the game tomorrow? You know, it's going to be wild.
So you're a hoopster. I mean, I gotta imagine you get done with this game, you come off on a huge emotional high, and now you got to rev back up, you know, within 48 hours to go play the #1 team in the country. That's not an easy task.
No. Well, I mean, I've never played at that level, but, you know, when we were listening to even the players, I thought, they had already even come. Can you imagine the roller coaster of like the win? And then I felt like the interviews that we listened to, it was like sinking in, because they weren't like screaming. They were like, wow, I'm like a kid in a candy store, you know. It was amazing. And then are they like watching tape right now? Are they watching like, we need to, you know.
They're like, what's the guy's name? Is it Zion, the superstar? They're just like, okay, who's going to take Zion? It's not going to be me, because he is just going to be dunking all over people.
Well, you know, maybe his shoe will blow out again.
No comment.
I mean, not that I wish for it to happen, but you never know.
But you know, if you're going to go beat the best, you want them to have the best players when you win. So it's like, hey, there's no excuse here, and so
I believe in one of Beth's reports, she was like, they're not just like thinking this is a great opportunity, you know, an experience. No. They're like, no, we're going to do our best. You never know, because these are the great stories. Could be an upset.
I thought they played a really good game last night. I mean, the one thing that they don't get enough credit for is they're great from the free throw line. The guys are on fire.
They were clutch. That won our game. They weren't so great with their rebounding, maybe, last night a little bit.
I mean, that North Carolina team, they had some dudes on that team.
They were better than I thought they were going to be. You know, I read a ton. I mean, I read a ton. That's what I did. And I was like, oh, they're better than what I read. Although we were favored by 5, and would we win by 4 or 5, you know, so.
So did you win money on that?
Not enough. I'm still here. Well, if you're worried about this Duke-NDSU matchup, you're going to like this, Chris, especially. While it would certainly be a Cinderella story if the Bison won, it is March Madness. Anything can happen, so we're staying positive, right? While pointing out Duke's negatives, like the true fans that we are, we found this in USA Today this morning, published an article with the headline, 3 Reasons Duke Won't Win the National Title. Spoiling March Madness brackets everywhere.
All right, so what do you got?
Ready? Okay. So they're talking about winning the whole tournament, of course. We're only talking about the Bison, but listen to this. Coach Richmond did some scouting for you. Number 1, bad 3-point shooting. Did you know that?
I did not, because you don't need to be good at 3 points when you have Zion.
Yeah, monsters like that.
Here you go, Zi.
Well, the Devils ranked 339th in the country in 3-point field goal percentage. That's not good.
Yeah, but what's their percentage in the paint?
Their best outside
Like
shooter only
98%.
shoots 33% from behind the arc. Number 2, inability to win close games.
Okay.
Okay. Lack of experience also. They are technically a group of 18-year-olds, and as they proved earlier in the season against Gonzaga, they can choke under pressure. Mounting pressure. No one likes all that pressure.
I mean, they
That's
are
why
young.
it's nice to be the underdog.
The nice thing for the Bison, they got nothing to lose. They can go in there and just, you know, do alley-oops and throw them from half court and see what happens.
There's a lot of hype and, of course, soaring expectations for that young team. So, you know, they could choke. So there you go. It was kind of, you know, Cindy found this. She's like, can you say anything bad about Duke? She's like, oh, yes. I found 3 reasons why they may not win it all. You know what, though? Like the NDSU football team, we've gone on to play some, you know,
Big time
like when we
teams.
beat the Hawkeyes, you know? I mean, I don't know if the Hawkeyes were Duke, but I don't know.
It's gonna
And
be fun to watch.
we have been hot, so I just hope we, you know, I think I went out to watch when we played Gonzaga, not this year, when we played them in the past, and we held our own.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what you want to see. You want to see us
Do you think they keep it within 10, 5,
10.
10?
Let's hope 10.
I think that would be a victory.
Yeah.
Number 1 team in the country.
Never
would
know.
be a victory.
And we've been hot right now. We're really hot.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have just one great 3-point shooter. They're all looking good. So I think if we rebound, I'll call Coach Richmond, tell him just get the rebounding under control.
I wonder if they don't even kind of just run down the shot clock every time they have the possession, because then there's not as many rebounds, obviously, just to kind of keep it in their hands. They don't have the ball as much. Because I don't know what you do against Duke other than just try to keep the ball out of their hands and keep it on your end of the court, right?
Have you filled out your bracket yet?
No, I'm not very good at those things, so no.
I think that you don't have to be good at it. It's all kind of based on luck, because I know some few people in the newsroom was like, well, gosh, you know, do we pick the Bison over, you know?
Over Duke?
You know, when you're filling out
You
your
might
brackets.
as well, because if they win, they're going to blow up everybody else's bracket, so.
Well, I was just going to tell the story anyway about how all the studies say we lose productivity by doing those. You're so productive, Chris,
Exactly.
that you just have no time for.
That's exactly right.
That's why you don't do
I don't
it.
have 5 minutes to fill out a bracket, so I need to make sure I'm focused on the shows and sales here. And is our general manager listening?
Yeah,
and,
you're lying.
generating
He
revenue.
knows you're lying. All right, stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to have a little fun with our Throwback Thursday as we talk about our favorite movies. Stay with us.